Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dale Center NASCAR Betting. It's my NASCAR betting preview for all the NASCAR races at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's called EchoPark, but just like the Xfinity Series switching to O'Reilly, we're going to keep calling it Xfinity, and we're definitely going to keep calling EchoPark right here behind us Atlanta Motor Speedway. But whatever you want to call it, it's a triple header weekend with the Craftsman Truck Series early on Saturday, the O'Reilly Series Saturday afternoon, and then the NASCAR Cup Series Auto Trader 400 on Sunday afternoon. There is rain in the area on Saturday, so be on the lookout. That could affect qualifying. It could affect the races on Saturday, but it's not heavy rain. There's not a high percent chance throughout the hourly increments throughout the day, so I don't anticipate it being a killer like we usually see in Daytona, and we finally didn't see it last weekend. But I do want to say thank you guys for all the support. Last week it was phenomenal. It's good to see some return and feel like I get a lot out of all the hard work and all the content creation I put in. And of course, apologies to anybody who watched the Daytona 500 betting preview, the Dale Club members who subscribe. We got destroyed in the Daytona 500. We had good call outs, and let me just be clear on this. If there is a race where the leaders wreck at the end, I lose 1,000% of the time. If the leaders all crash at the end, which they did on the white flag, it took out a bunch of guys, and then they did it coming to the line again. If the leaders ever wreck in any race ever, I promise you, I will lose. You hear that, Eric Jones? Don't fucking wreck again. It's America's pastime. It's not baseball anymore. It's me losing NASCAR bets when they all wreck on the white flag. I don't know. It's just insane. I have so many instances I can name where when the leaders wreck at the end, I'm dead every time. The one that I will never, ever get over is 2020 Fall Daytona. My fantasy football draft was that weekend. I had all my friends at my house in 2020. When I was starting all this, I convinced everybody to bet on the Xfinity race that Friday night, I believe. And my top two plays, I only had like 4 outrights because that era, if you remember the Xfinity series, was dominated by Colic. I mean, they were like the Austin Hill and the Jesse Love of that era for like 3 or 4 years. I convinced all my league to bet with me, and we all bet my top 2 plays, AJ Allmendinger and Ross Chastain, who was in a Colic car. And what happens? They wreck each other running first and second in the final turn of the fucking race. If ever there is an accident on the white flag involving the leaders, whether it's 2-3 cars, pile up, I lose. It's a guarantee. So, you saw Eric Jones in the frame right there. He was our guy at the end. I mean, he stormed through the field. He was in a prime spot. And I'll be riding with Eric Jones again, by the way, this weekend. But I just have to throw that out there that every time, and this goes back to the 2025 Daytona 500 too. I had Austin Cindric in that one. I had a couple other guys in the middle of that top 8 skirmish. They all wreck, I lose. So it's like clockwork, basically. There's certain races I will never, ever let go, and one of them is that 2020 Fall Daytona Xfinity Series race. And there's plenty more. And anybody who's tailed me for the majority of these last 3, 4, 5 years could probably reaffirm that in the comments, that when the leaders wreck, I lose. Doesn't matter which NASCAR National Series it is. So let's talk about our top 10 plays. Now, I want to talk about more because my betting preview last week only covered the Daytona 500, which is standard because it is the crown jewel of NASCAR racing. It's a great American race. It needs to be kind of covered in its own world, right? But my typical betting previews of Dale Center NASCAR betting cover all 3 NASCAR National Series if they're all racing on the same weekend. And as we kicked off the show, yes, it's a triple header. So we're covering everything. And the top 10 will include bets from all 3 NASCAR National Series. Now, at the timing of this coming out, which apologies for it being so late, is I haven't bet anything for O'Reilly yet. But I think I know what I'm going to bet before we hit qualifying. I'm pretty locked in on trucks. I'm pretty locked in on Cup. If you subscribe via Dub Club, you've seen that already. What I have out for trucks and Cup, it's a lot. It's a lot. And we'll hopefully get some good luck this time. I mean, trucks, we had some bad luck in Daytona too. We lost in a photo finish when our guys were running first and second on the white flag. We hit Xfinity. We hit the duels. So far on the year, including the Clash where we hit Ryan Preece, we are in the positive. We are plus 1.2 units after a demolition of the Daytona 500. So I can't reiterate enough how shitty I felt for myself and the Dale Club when all the smoke settled in Daytona on Sunday afternoon. It's a rare offer. We don't get a lot of offers. Everybody wrecks at the white flag. We get an offer. Anywho, let's get into our top 10. I'm kind of setting them up randomly. I don't know where we're going to go first. Wow. I'm telling you, I set these up randomly. Eric Jones. We're going back to Eric Jones here. Underrated drafting track guy. Not even at just Daytona and Talladega, where we've seen him win at Daytona, almost win at Talladega. He's good at Atlanta too. Top 5 last summer. Remember, he pushed Chase Elliott to the win here 2022. Had another good run here in spring of 2025, I believe. Eric Jones is underrated in these drafting track style races. And since he moved to Toyota, this is why I wrote on there. I don't know. It just seems like a misprice to me because since Eric Jones has been at Toyota when they joined Legacy Motor Club, he has been the top Toyota at drafting track style races in 3 of 13 attempts. That's like a 23% success rate on being the top finishing Toyota. So when you equate that to betting odds, that equates to being like plus 325, plus 350. This is just way below what his fair value should be. I mean, this is anything 10-1 or better, I think is a must bet. When we're talking about Eric Jones as a Toyota, he has been the top Toyota almost at a 25% rate at drafting tracks, which dates back to 2024. Eric Jones, top Toyota, 15-1. I got 17-1 on FanDuel. I posted that on the Dale Club. 15-1 is still available. If you have to go down to 10-1, 11-1 range, I still think it's worth a bet. Again, running second on the white flag of the Daytona 500 wrecks. So Eric Jones is one of these guys. There's several of these guys that fit this category, but incident-free. When he is incident-free, he is a contender in these races at Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega. I expect him to be a factor this weekend. I think he's a fantastic underdog, low-risk bet to be the top Toyota. If you want to pile on 60-1, 65-1 outright, go for it. But again, with these top Toyota bets, it's always in my strategy on these drafting tracks. And when you consider he's like 8-1, I think is what I saw for a top 5. He's almost double that to beat 7 cars, or 8-1 to beat 40, or to beat 34 cars. What do we have, a 38, 39 car field this weekend? He's 8-1 to be a top 5, which would require beating 33 or 34 cars on track. Or he's 15-1 to be the top Toyota, which requires beating 6 or 7 other cars. The math just does not math, along with my spill on what finding the fair value here, and I think it's just way fucking off. So Eric Jones, I think, will be a factor this weekend, as he typically is on the drafting tracks. Now, moving on. Joey Logano. Atlanta starts and ends with Lame Gano. Get 10-1. I know this price has moved substantially on FanDuel down to plus 750. I think it's 9-1 on DraftKings. 9-1's okay. If you have to take 9-1, take it. Just up the unit size a little bit from what you'll see later. But Joey Logano's been fantastic on the drafting tracks. He finally finished a race at Daytona. He P3 in the 500. If the wreck had unfolded differently, maybe he wins it. But, I'm He started 2026 with some momentum. He won a dual race. He finished all right in the Clash. What did he run? P7, P6, something like that. But forget the Clash. He won his dual race. He's third in the Daytona 500. It's an even year. Watch out. I think he's got the Auto Trader paint scheme this weekend. Maybe Cindric has it. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Joey Logano, this race, anytime you come to Atlanta, you expect it to start with Logano and end with Logano. If he stays up front, when he is in control, he is almost impossible to beat. And one reason why I think guys like him and Brad, who I don't know, it's amazing Brad Keselowski hasn't won at Atlanta yet as many times as he's been leading late, but Atlanta is somewhat similar to the older super speedway racing product, like pre-Gen 7. Atlanta, as we like to characterize it, kind of reminds you of an older Daytona, right? And I think that suits Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. And I think it's partially why Logano has been so good here and winning, is because it kind of allows you to use driver talent plus a good driving, handling race car. And when Joey Logano takes control, we've seen him he does not relinquish it when he is dominant here at Atlanta or even in the conversation. So Joey Logano, must bet. Once again, back-to-back weeks. A lot of momentum heading here to Atlanta. Next up, Brad Keselowski, right on cue. Brad K, 20-1. I don't know if 20-1 is still available. I took it on Caesar Sportsbook. It was hanging out there on DraftKings for a little while, but same type of thing. I'm a little nervous because he kind of said Atlanta is going to be a lot harder on his broken leg than Daytona was. He finished 5th in the 500. He had a shot to win his dual race, ran up front, and he's been fantastic here at Atlanta. He's basically given up 2 Atlanta races on the white flag, or with 2 to go, one of them being last summer, the other being spring of 2023. He is fantastic here. And that one, I think it was fall 2023, the race that got rained out, postponed, that William Byron won, or not postponed. It went halfway, it rained, Byron wins it. He was the guy to beat that night too, and was storming back through the field after a different strategy plays, and then the rains came. So in my mind, I've got 3 races that Brad Keselowski probably should have won here at Atlanta in the drafting track era. So I think it's important to also talk about the price, because you get 20-1. I would bet this down to 16-1, but if you can find 18-1 or better, that's huge, because it allows you, if you're a little concerned about his injury and how it might impact his performance here this weekend, if you're just like, I'm tired of betting on this motherfucker, he never wins, I get that too. It's a low risk play, right? Like, if you have a stacked betting card, kind of like how I have this weekend and how I had at Daytona, it's a low risk play that can win your entire weekend if he still wins the race. Not to mention, people in our Discord talking about that top Ford price at 6-1, 6.5-1. Man, you see that number and it's so tempting. But then you realize he's going against Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. So, I mean, the top Ford number is even worthy, considering how often he runs up front and finishes up front in these drafting track races. I like the 18-1 or better for Brad Keselowski if you can get it, because it makes it a low risk bet that can make your entire weekend. So I'm back to the ship on Brad K. He's nearly an auto bet on these drafting track style races. Now, this one you see on your screen, Carson Hocevar, I'm betting him for Cup too. Let me just throw that out there. Don't get confused here. The price, he's running trucks. This is a truck price. I got plus 850 to win the Freight 208 on Saturday. If he stays incident free, he will be up front, leading laps, patrolling both lanes. He'll be a potential dominant force at Atlanta. Spires won 2 in a row here with Kyle Busch. I love Carson Hocevar if you're going to give me this price. Kyle Busch is the favorite, plus 275, maybe 3-1's available. There is nobody except for Austin Hill that I could validate betting a price like that on a drafting track style race. Nobody except for Austin Hill. That's the only one. So I'm not going to bet the Kyle Busch number. In trucks, it's a stacked field again. You got guys coming back like Ricky Stenhouse, Carson Hocevar. it's gonna John Hunter Nemechek. It's gonna be a very competitive race. I don't think it's a runaway race like the books imply. Price and Kyle Busch like that in trucks. Remember, we're talking about trucks here. You saw that price. I got plus 850 on BetMGM. It's moved. I've seen plus 750 as recently as Thursday night on DraftKings Sportsbook. I'd bet it down to 7-1 for Carson Osevar to win at Atlanta in the truck race. But I'm betting him in Cup too. I've already done both. I got 25-1 in Cup. Same thing. I think if he keeps it clean, again, leading the white flag on the Daytona 500. I didn't bet him for the 500, but you throw 25-1 at me for a race he was this close to winning last year, leading of the white flag of the Daytona 500. There's just enough recency bias to say yes. 25-1, I'm all in for Carson Osevar for Cup, and then plus 850 for trucks, bet down to 7-1 pre-qualifying. Sticking with the Chevy camp, but back to Cup. Ross Chastain. There is a clear difference in his overall performance at Atlanta versus Daytona and Talladega. I mean, he has knocked on the door of winning this race multiple times. Remember, I mean, you look at the box score and you see he finished 8th here last year in this race. Well, on the final restart, he was leading the inside lane when Hocevar shot the middle, made a bold move to put Hocevar in control of that bottom lane and give him a better shot at the win. Chastain's positioning has just been notoriously better in the late stage moments of these Atlanta races. You throw 30-1 at me, 11-1 top Chevy, which I know is still available. I saw BetMGM put top manufacturer odds up this morning as of Friday morning. Check FanDuel, check DraftKings, check Caesars, check Hard Rock. They've all got manufacturer odds. 11-1, 10-1 top Chevy's fine. 30-1 outright. I'd bet down to 25-1. There's a clear difference in Chastain's performance at Atlanta versus Daytona and Talladega. The box score won't always tell you. He has been in a close winning position in so many of these Atlanta races. This is where the film differs from the box score on Racing Reference or driver averages. Take a shot on Ross Chastain this weekend. He's going to be a factor. He's going to be aggressive. I'm not sure where that Trackhouse program is on their ovals. You know, Zilich, SVG, they're going to take down some road course races. The oval program seems like they pop up and they win a random oval every year. Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez gone, now he's with Spire. Watch out for Ross Chastain. He is the sneakiest play of the entire weekend at Atlanta. Now, let's replay the same fucking thing. Or we can play this next one, which is going to be... Motherfucker. Hold on. Hang on. There he is. Bubba Wallace, top Toyota. Plus 650. I'd bet down to 6-1. I think fair value for this is around 5-1 range. Again, Bubba Wallace, top Toyota guy. Led the most laps in the Daytona 500. Ran up front the majority of the race. The way it unfolded was crazy. He was a victim of that white flag accident. He avoided the wreck, but had to lose too much momentum in the process to have a shot at the win. Maybe not. If you don't think he's going to win, I still recommend the top Toyota. Love the top Toyota for at least a unit. If you can get 6-1 or better, I think that's I think that's just a valuable pick, a valuable bet. And I mean, even 5-1, like I said, I think 5-1 plus 550 is pretty close to fair value for Bubba Wallace, considering how efficient he's been at these drafting tracks in being the top finishing Toyota. So the results haven't been as good as at Atlanta versus a Daytona or a Talladega, but he runs up front to warrant this type of bet. You bet 3 or 4 top Toyotas, starting with Bubba Wallace. Again, you're playing a numbers game. Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, both eliminated last week at Daytona. I know Tyler Reddick ended up being the top Toyota. Shout out to him. Ran an amazing race, survived the chaos, and made some unbelievable moves to win it. And honestly, I've slept on Reddick quite a bit in the drafting tracks, and he's now won at Daytona and Talladega, both under crazy circumstances. So shout out to Tyler Reddick, but I'm going with his teammate this weekend, Bubba Wallace, to be the top Toyota. He is my number one pick to be the top Toyota. Pair him with Eric Jones. Pair him with John Hunter Nemechek. Shit, you want to pair him with Riley Herbst, who's hanging around 25 to 1, 30 to 1 top Toyota on some of these books? Go ahead. Play the numbers game that we always play. For me this weekend, it starts with Bubba Wallace. On to the next one here. We're going to O'Reilly. You're probably surprised. You probably look at this number and be like, who the fuck is that? All right, so give me both Sam Hunt Racing Toyota Camrys in the O'Reilly series for a top 5. Now, I've already seen a little bit of movement before I went live. I don't think 13 to 1 is available. The 13 to 1 is for Dean Thompson. The 8 to 1 is for Harrison Burton. 8 to 1 for a top 5 for Harrison Burton is still there on Caesars Sportsbook. If you can get Dean Thompson 11 to 1 or better, that's fine too. I love this, especially if you're in a dilemma, say seeing Austin Hill plus 250 to win. We all knew damn well the moment he passed the start finish line to win at Daytona, you were not going to see 4 to 1 again. So, I hammered that 4 to 1 knowing, as I said earlier, he's the only guy that warrants a 3 to 1 bet on a super speedway. I'm not saying I'm going to do it this weekend. He's won 5 of the last 7 Atlanta races. The books are putting you in a predicament because of his dominance, and it's rightfully so. So that bet on the screen, I'll put it up one more time. Both SHR cars for a top 5. Sam Hunt Racing's been good enough here to warrant a bet like this. And now you got Harrison Burton. You got experience. You've got a guy that's won on a drafting track in Xfinity, O'Reilly, and Cup. And I know they had a mechanical gremlin, which has kind of been the kryptonite of Sam Hunt Racing. When they've had issues, it's typically mechanical stuff. They had a brake problem that they had to fix in Harrison Burton's car that costed him a couple laps. But when he was on track, he was running in the front of the pack. So don't tell me the cars aren't good enough. They've run top 5 here at Atlanta before with Corey Heim. They've been consistent at Atlanta. They've had one car place at least 11th or better with 3 different drivers in the drafting track era. 8 to 1, Harrison Burton. 11 to 1 or better for Dean Thompson. Maybe don't put, heavy units on those, but to me, Harrison Burton's a fantastic underdog play. If you can get 40 to 1, I think he's 30 to 40 to 1 range for an outright. I like that too. Remember, Nick Sanchez broke through and won here last year. If there is a breakthrough this weekend, it could go through Sam Hunt Racing. I love betting both of those, especially if you're not sure what to do with Austin Hill and RCR. Your whole card can be some underdog top 5 guys, and at these prices, one of them hits, you're good. You leave Saturday afternoon with a profit. So I'll throw a couple more at you for top 5s. William Sawalich. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a gut play type of thing, but William Sawalich for a top 5 plus 650 on Caesars. Maybe top 3, maybe an outright. I think Toyota is improving in their drafting track program on overall speed and handling. So William Sawalich, we talk about a breakthrough. Maybe his breakthrough happens here. I think Sawalich will 1,000% win a race this year, and it could be on Saturday afternoon. I think William Sawalich, at his prices, is a good play in a very competitive race car. These young guys at JGR and Toyota, they're going to have to work together. They're going to have to work together if they want to beat RCR and Junior Motorsports at Atlanta. So William Sawalich, you pair that top 5 with SHR top 5s, you get that could be your full betting card. Jeb Burton's around 7 to 1 for a top 5. Maybe you throw him in there. Another guy that's fantastic in the drafting tracks ordinarily. Brendan Poole top 5. Fucking half a lap away from getting a top 3 at Daytona last week. That sucked because I bet him for a top 3 and a top 5 and outright. So watching Brendan Poole somehow not get a top 5 was crazy. He's good enough. Maybe be a little more cautious with the heavy underdogs because handling is a factor here. And they can close the gap at Daytona and Talladega better than they can close the gap at Atlanta because of the handling factor of this racetrack behind me. So just giving you some options to throw with the Sam Hunt Racing top 5s. Love that for Xfinity. Fuck. Again, for O'Reilly. Moving on. This is for trucks. Corey Heim is in the Tricon #1 for Tricon Garage. Tricon, again, you know, they have a large fleet. They work together well. We've seen them work together and win super speedway races multiple times. And you think of Corey Heim, you think of the pure driver, right? Who wins on all these technical racetracks, road courses, short tracks, mile and a half. He's so diverse. Don't forget, man, 4 of his last 6 drafting track attempts in the Craftsman Truck Series have resulted in a top 3. He won at Daytona. He really finished second, but Kligerman got DQ'd. Ran second behind Gio Ruggiero last year at Talladega. I mean, the guy runs up front in everything he does. And the way the Tricon group works together, the way Gio Ruggiero is on these drafting tracks is ridiculous. Tanner Gray's had his moments. Bad luck last week. I think they ran out of fuel when they had a strong run at Daytona. I like the Tricon group. It starts with Corey Heim. It starts with Corey Heim. You're going to lay plus 850 out there. Again on BetMGM, I took it with the Hocevar outright. That's the Kyle Busch effect, and I love it. It makes me love the board this weekend. Take Corey Heim down to 7-1, right there with Carson Hocevar. I think there's a great shot. Great shot. You see Corey Heim versus Carson Hocevar for the win on Saturday afternoon. What do we have next? Oh, Ryan Blaney. I don't have a lot to say here. He's the auto bet for drafting tracks. There's been a couple of these over the years. I haven't bet on Brad. Maybe 1 or 2. There's been a bunch of these over the years. I haven't bet on Logano because Logano was so snake bit on getting the finishes. Well, now that Logano has strung together some good ones at Daytona, he's back on the potential auto bet list. Ryan Blaney never leaves it. Amazing to me he hasn't won here at Atlanta. He's been in a potential winning position multiple times. Lost by a testicle hair against Daniel Suarez in 2024 in that 3-wide finish. He's been close enough. The way the Daytona 500 worked out was crazy for him because the Fords, nobody was working together when they had that final pit cycle. And if you were watching the 500, Penske pitted together with 3 cars at the end of the pit cycle, and Blaney had no help getting off pit road and got freight trained. So all this fuel saving bullshit didn't even pay off last week in obtaining track position. It was crazy the way that cycle worked out, but don't have to worry about that in Atlanta. I think Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, they're going to qualify well. They're going to run up front. They're both going to be in contention for the win, and he's due. He is due. 10-1 is available. Take it if you can. What am I missing here? I think I'm missing one. Gio Ruggiero back to the Craftsman Truck Series. This kid's been ridiculous on drafting tracks, man. He's just got this, I don't know what it is. He's just got this IQ level that is way above anyone in his age range for drafting tracks. And we've seen it enough in trucks. He won the ARCA race at Daytona too. Not that that's a major accomplishment with all due respect, but the guy is amazing in the draft. He is an up-and-comer in terms of an Austin Cindric, a Ryan Blaney, an Austin Hill. The kid is good. You should bet him for a top 3 at 7-1. What are we talking about? Pull the stats up again. 7-1, top 3? Last 4 drafting tracks in the Truck Series. P2, P1, P11, P2. The P11 was at Atlanta. Come on, man. Now that he's got experience, now that he's got confidence, he just keeps winning these or runner up. And you're going to lay 7-1 top 3? That was on Caesars. I think 6-1 is still available, and I would bet the shit out of that. Absolutely. 25-1. I know we got Cup guys. You know, we got Nemechek, Ricky Stenhouse, Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar. You got Justin Haley looming, who was a former drafting track master. This kid is something else. When you have prodigy level talent, prodigy level results, you don't fade it. And that's Gio Ruggiero, ladies and gentlemen, in the Craftsman Truck Series. Don't get it mixed up because he is running Xfinity 2. He got wrecked last week at Daytona. I'm not sure if I'm ready to take a shot. Xfinity, fuck. O'Reilly. He's running O'Reilly 2 this weekend in a Gibbs car. I'm not sure if I'm ready yet to take a shot on that. Again, handling is a factor. He's got inexperience with this type of race car. It's much different than the trucks and the ARCA car. Pump the brakes on O'Reilly, hammer the truck. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. And that's my top 10. We'll show you the board real quick as you're looking at Ross Chastain. The Dale Center top 10 for the Auto Trader 400 weekend. Logano, my favorite bet. Blaney, second. Anytime there's a drafting track, you're likely to see them at the top of the board. You see where everybody else is. I have Chastain at number 10, Eric Jones at number 9, Gio Ruggiero number 8, Sam Hunt Racing Guys at number 7, Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar. Remember, bet them both, not just one or the other. Bet them both. As you look at our top 10, be sure to check us out on dubclub.win. That link is in the bio if you would like to see all the NASCAR bets that I log. That was probably an ear fuck. Sorry about that. When I switch slides, sometimes they redo. They replay. That's okay. You get to see Corey Heim again. Check out dubclub.win. Join the Dale Club if you want to see all my bets with specific unit allocations. Again, we got murdered at the Daytona 500. But as I ranted about, and will continue to rant about, anytime the leaders all wreck, I'm dead, and we will lose. When they don't wreck, we've got a pretty good shot. So hopefully we'll have a great weekend. Atlanta's been pretty good to me in the past. I had Chase Elliott last year in the fall race. I had Christopher Bell, who won the spring race. Yeah, that's kind of what I got. I'll take this time to kind of talk about a few other things that I like because we're covering all three NASCAR National Series. I think Christian Eckes is a very sneaky bet in trucks. I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was 2023. He had a rocket. He had a clear, dominant, superior race truck. Drove all the way from the back after a penalty or an issue on pit road, back to the lead, won. He's back in that type of equipment with McAnally, and McAnally has proven that they can bring some really fucking good trucks to the racetrack. And not just the technical racetracks, short tracks, mile and a halves. They've brought them here at Atlanta. So we're all focused on the Cup guys. Take a shot on Christian Eckes. You know, you're going to give us 16-1, 17-1 range. This guy is good. This guy's good. He's got more experience now. He's won on a drafting track. He was really close to winning on a drafting track in Xfinity. Christian Eckes, worth taking a shot on. And I'll give you an underdog that I like. That people are going to be like, what? Ty Dillon. Give me Ty Dillon. Forget anything you see on paper. Ty Dillon, when he's had opportunities, he shows proper aggression. He's got plenty of experience in the truck. You think about his full-time deal he had with Rackley. That program has just not really taken major strides, whether it was with him. Matt DiBenedetto did win a truck race for Rackley back, what was that, 2024, 2023? So that equipment was semi-capable, right? Now you put him in this Dodge Ram with colleague. Tony Stewart, all the hype was about him. You know, he wrecks. Bad luck, whatever. Everybody shits on the decision to put Ty Dillon in the truck. It would be pretty ironic that, you know, this truck that's this like all-star truck. They all love Tony Stewart getting in the truck. He wrecks. Everybody's like, whatever. You put Ty Dillon in the truck. Everybody's like, oh, you put this bum in this ride, and then he goes out and wins, or at least gets a good finish. I think Ram proved that their trucks will be competitive. Especially the way Justin Haley ran at Daytona last week. I think they'll be competitive at Atlanta this weekend. Strength in numbers is important no matter what type of drafting track we go to. And I think Ty Dillon, I mean, he's got major experience. Plus 650, top 5, 6-1 or better top 5, I think is a good bet, a good underdog bet. I think he'll be in the top 10. I think he'll be in the mix. And I think, you know, when you go back and look at Atlanta, who's going to be the next Bailey Curry? A guy that was always an underdog who ran well at Atlanta, in particular with Nice. Caden Honeycutt, I remember one year he was in the 02 truck, was leading late, had an issue. So I think who's going to be that underdog guy that sneaks his way in? You could look at Stuart Friesen last year as that. He was not a popular bet last year. He was probably 50 to 1 to win the race. He loses in a photo finish to Kyle Busch. Who's going to be that next underdog that has that breakout run in the truck race? It happens every time we come here. This time, Ty Dillon. Mark it down. If you subscribe on Dub Club and you've seen what I've posted, I will have some O'Reilly bets. I'm definitely betting those top fives that were in my Dale Center top 10 plays. And then maybe the Sawalich that I mentioned. I'm not 1,000% betting the RCR guys. I think O'Reilly is going to be pretty light for Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. One thing about O'Reilly that's tough is, and I told this to a bunch of people last week at the racetrack who are like, oh, you're betting on Austin Hill? Yeah. For the first time in a minute, this series did not get deeper. I mean, it really didn't. Like, the truck series got so much talent. You got more Cup guys jumping down in good rides. O'Reilly, I mean, you got Ross Chastain to that Jordan Anderson car. That could be, we'll see what happens there. That could be worth taking a shot on. But the series overall did not get deeper like it usually did. I mean, of course, last couple years, it got Connor Zilic, Eric Almirola racing that won a bunch of races. They got Cole Custer a couple years ago. They got AJ Allmendinger back for a while. Year before that, maybe. I mean, it's always seemed like the O'Reilly series gets deeper. It did not this year. So with that being said, you got a lot of youth and Gio Ruggiero, William Sawalich, Brent Cruz is coming up soon. But not a lot of Cup guy, only one Cup guy jumping down this particular weekend. It almost forces you to bet the favorites. And Coda's going to be interesting to see what the entry list looks like coming up next week. But in Atlanta, don't be surprised if I hammer Austin Hill again. The series, you got to remind yourself, for the first time in a long time, the series did not get deeper. The favorites are going to be prioritized, probably more than ever. I mean, last year, Connor Zilic was almost even money, 2 to 1 every race. But it's going to look different this year. And I think you come to the drafting tracks, Austin Hill has the best chance he's ever had to sweep the drafting tracks in 2026. No question. He stays at the front. These kids can't pass him, man. So don't be surprised if I go right back to hammering Austin Hill and then the rest of the card being pretty light. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for O'Reilly. I think the Haas guys are worth betting if they're 12 to 1, 14 to 1, 16 to 1 range. Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed. I think they've got the experience. They've got the resume, especially Sheldon Creed with drafting tracks being the closest he's ever been to winning, except for that one Darlington race where a caution came out with 2 to go when he was with Joe Gibbs Racing. The Haas guys are going to be up there. Problem is they just get into too much trouble. They're like 50-50 on running with Austin Hill or getting fucking wrecked. But I think if you, again, like I talked about with Keselowski, you see 16 to 1, 18 to 1 range, it's a low risk bet for a big payout. So I think the Haas guys are worth considering. I've kind of gotten to like Sammy Smith in a bunch of these drafting track races for the JRM guys. I bet Carson Kvapil at Daytona last week. We'll see. He ran well here. I think he finished second to Nick Sanchez or third. Either way, I'm kind of giving you an idea of the potential guys I'll bet. But it will be considerably lighter than Cup and Trucks, where my confidence level is extremely high. Extremely high. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time and kind of go over what I'm thinking there. Now, again, if you want to join the Dale Club and see every single bet that I post, check out dubclub.win, where we've been in the green over 100 units 2 consecutive years. And even with the Disaster Fest in Daytona, for the 500, we still leave Speed Weeks in the green, which is insane. But I do want to talk about parlays. Why don't we make a parlay on DraftKings? So I did post a parlay that I bet for basically 0.1 unit. I don't do a lot of parlays. A lot of times I'll make them on here with you guys. We'll fuck around. It's not a guarantee that I'm going to bet it, but it gives you something out of my brain that you could bet and maybe it'll hit. I mean, we've had some close calls. I've hit a couple in the past, but I did bet one this weekend. By the way, I did have the dogs on the screen. I forgot. I can't go without mentioning the crew chief, Rocky, and Baby, my two dogs. Can't go without mentioning them. You saw them on the screen. I'll make sure they're on the screen here while we are crafting a parlay. All right, you see Rocky with his Dale jersey on. Amazingly, he likes it. You know, I keep my house pretty cold. It keeps him a little extra warmer. He is the Intimidator. I found that jersey. Finally found it. After having it basically lost for like 8 years. So if you're still sticking around here watching on Dale Center, we're going to make a parlay. We'll do two parlays. I'll go ahead and tell you the one that I made and bet was a William Sawalich top 3. What was it? An Eckes top 3 and a Logano top 3. That pays out $100 would pay out 17 grand. I think it's 170 to 1. Let's do a 3 series parlay. Let's do a safe one. When I make these on here on Dale Center, I like to have one safe one. And that's an Austin Hill top 3. He may finish second to Jesse Love. He's going to be up there. So let's do a Hill top 3. We will do let's go back to the top Toyota. Let's do Bubba top Toyota. It's kind of a risk. You call it risky, but man, with how much he runs up front, I don't view it super risky like maybe other people would. Now we go to trucks. Let's go. You know, I was going to say Nemechek. You know what? Yeah, first instinct. Nemechek was very good in that truck race, and he's back in the same truck. This is 32.5 to 1, so $100 would win you $3,200. There you go. I like that. Hill top 3, Bubba top Toyota, Nemechek top 5. Trucks, Cup, O'Reilly. You know, another thing to be careful about, just as my brain continues to churn stupidity, with the way they lifted regulations on how often a Cup guy can race Xfinity, O'Reilly, and trucks, just make sure you don't accidentally get mixed up, folks, because you're going to see Kyle Busch's name and Hocevar's name in these lower tier series and Nemechek and Ricky Stenhouse. Make sure you bet you know what you're looking at, because sometimes you might just click the wrong thing and see, Carson Hocevar betting him for Cup, which would be stupid at 7 to 1. Make sure you know what you're looking at is all I'm trying to say. All right, let's do a psycho one. We'll do 3 parlays. Let's do a psychotic one. Adam Andretti. Man, I wish I could bet on the over 0.5 accidents. What a crazy approval that is. Adam Andretti. Wish I could bet over 0.5 accidents. Wait a minute. Which truck is it? You know, I may have had the wrong number. Let me check the entry list. Not that this is a huge deal, but because you don't bet based off driver number when you look at these guys. Yeah, Corey Haim's in the 1. Which one is Andretti in? Andretti's in a Tricon truck. He's in the 5. That's right. Okay, I just want to make sure I had that right. Adam Andretti's in the number 5 for Tricon. Last week that was Nick Lights. Okay, we're doing a psycho one. Let's go Ben Rhodes 4 to 1. This price is fucking horrendous versus other books, but we know he's capable. Go Gio top 3 plus 550, and then we'll take. I'll tell you what, man. Caden Honeycutt, and I bet this price already. You could see that on dubclub.win, but he was leading on the white flag. $100 will pay you 48 grand here. Caden Honeycutt winner, Gio Ruggiero top 3, and a Ben Rhodes top 5. Now, one thing I did a couple times last year, this is super psycho. I did the round robin. Let's do a round robin. We'll do Honeycutt. Well, let's play the safe cards. Let's do 2 or 3 from every series. A round robin is essentially a parlay that it basically entertains every single mathematical combination. So basically, you don't have to hit every leg to win. But you have to, because of that, you have to put more money down. You're basically paying for a better shot to win a multi-leg parlay. For Cup, we'll do a top 5 with Eric Jones, Carson Osavar, the top 2, the white flag of the Daytona 500, and then let's go Joey Logano. So there's 6 right there. Got to take somebody from O'Reilly, right? Well, let's take fucking Austin Hill. We'll do a Creed top 3. This is way too psychotic. And then Sanchez top 5. So you click round robin. Let's just put $1 on the 2s and $1 on the 3s and boy, 126. That would be 200. That's a lot of money for a parlay. Just playing the 2s, 3s, and 4s. Your max payout is what's showing right here. This is too crazy. This is too crazy. Come back and let me know if you did anything related to these. I'm curious how many of these end up hitting, but so basically, if you did $1, this is $1 per parlay. So a 2-leg would be 36 total parlays. A 3-leg would be 84 total parlays. Remember, that's combining every single possible 3-leg parlay between all these drivers listed. Be $84, and then a 4-leg would be 126 different parlays. Max payout total, if all of these hit, would be around 44 grand. No, I'm sorry, 41 grand, 42 grand. Yeah, something like that. Anywho, okay, let's get out of fairy tale world here. Let's do a manufacturer parlay. In Cup, top Chevy, Ross the Boss. Top Ford, Ryan Blaney. Top Toyota, Eric Jones. That's a big one right there. $100 wins you 73 grand. Congratulations. You won. Because that's going to hit. Right there. That's going to be the one. All right, I could sit here for fucking hours. I could sit here for fucking hours doing this. So why don't we go ahead and switch on back. Thank you guys so much again for all the support. You know, I worked my ass off on all this. I watch so many old races, study so many different pages. I go down crazy rabbit holes in trying to find maybe narratives, trying to find more detailed statistics that, you know, you don't see on paper, you don't see on Racing Reference, you don't see on driver averages. So anyway, I put way too much time into this. Sometimes I'm late on things when I do all the iRacing stuff, social media, short content. You know, it's a lot. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who supported, whether it's via Dub Club, iRacing, here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, because a lot of people put a lot of work in like I do, possibly even more. I think there's certainly people, creators out there who do work harder than me, the way they're at the track every week. And sometimes when you work really fucking hard in this industry, you feel a little empty, like I didn't get much out of that. You know, I feel like the return wasn't there. I just want to say, for everything that happened in Daytona, the brand partnerships we did with Arby's and Fox, if you saw those, combined with all the support, it felt like my return was good, basically. I just want to thank you guys, because that would be impossible without the people that support all my channels. Even if you support one of my channels, thank you. We got a long year ahead, and it's gonna be fun. And we're gonna right the ship from the 68th Daytona 500. I think we're gonna have a big weekend here in Atlanta. I think it starts with many of those top 10 bets that I showed you guys, talked about, and maybe even more that we discussed here for the triple header at Atlanta this weekend. The Auto Trader 400. This has been our betting preview, Dale Center NASCAR betting. If I help you win money, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and come back and thank us. And let me know in the comments what you like this weekend. Regardless, hey, disagree with me, go tell me to go fuck myself if you disagree with one of my bets. I want to hear it. I want to read it. Start the conversation in the comments and let me know what you like for the Auto Trader 400 weekend. Thank you guys so much again. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you soon.